Guys, I'm blown away. I just finished watching Invincible on Amazon Prime, and oh my god! Throughout the whole season, I was thinking about all the things I'd want to say when I did this review, and now that I'm here, having just had my mind blown to smithereens by that finale, suddenly I'm kind of at a loss for words right now. Look, I didn't know exactly what to expect when I watched this show. I'd never read the comics it was based on. I knew they could be bloody and violent and stuff, and holy crap did the show follow suit. But beyond that, I had no real expectations. Well, I've got expectations now. And when Season 2 gets here, I'm expecting nothing less than the best superhero show on television. Because, oh yeah, that's what Invincible is. The best frame of reference I can give you is this. Imagine the best DC animated movie you can think of, then make it a weekly series and rate it hard R. That's the level of quality this show delivers. And it might even be better than that, honestly. The talent working on this show is unbelievable. Whether they're writers, animators, voice actors. Let's talk about the voice actors. Holy crap. I'm not an expert on this stuff or anything, but is this or is this not one of the best voice casts on an animated series maybe ever assembled? Just the announcement of the main cast was enough to get me on board. Stephen Yeun, Sandra Oh, J.K. Simmons, Walton Goggins, Zazie Beetz, and those were just the people I'd heard of. And in supporting roles, you got people like Clancy Brown, Mark Hamill, Zachary Quinto, Kevin Michael Richardson, Pimento from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and that's just the tip of the iceberg because it still gets better. I don't know how they did this. I don't know how much money they must have spent on getting big name acting talent to come in and work on this show, but the guest cast. My God, the guest cast. Big name acting talent all over the place. If some character shows up for a couple appearances, they're voiced by a name actor. If a character shows up for one episode, name actor. If a character shows up for one scene and has just a handful of lines, name actor. In this season alone, they had people like John Hamm, Seth Rogen, Jaimin Hansu, Lenny James, Jonathan Groff, Mae Whitman, Lauren Cohen, all voicing relatively minor characters. And get this, Amazon Prime have this really cool feature where whenever a character appears in a scene, they have all the actors' information appear in a little side bubble on the left. So in every episode, whenever a new character showed up, I'd be hitting pause on my keyboard so I could click over there and see which name actor was showing up next to voice a guest character who might only appear in one or two scenes or have one or two lines. In just one episode, they had Mahershala Ali, Jeffrey Donovan, Nicole Byer, Michael Dorn, the dad from Family Matters, and guys, every episode is like this. Every one! And that level of quality extends across the board. Let's talk about the action scenes. Holy f*** the action scenes! Absolutely thrilling stuff! And the violence. I have never seen violence like this in a Western cartoon. Normally you'd have to look to anime for stuff like this. No kid gloves, no pulled punches. You see limbs getting ripped off, heads exploding, bodies getting torn apart. It's pretty common after a superhero battle to see characters looking like they took a bath in human gore. It is insane the level of brutality on display here. I could not believe the stuff Amazon Prime let them get away with. The season finale alone, on top of also being just emotionally gut-wrenching, had to be one of the most shockingly, viscerally, bone-crushingly violent things I've ever seen in animation. The whole episode I was watching in total disbelief, trying to scrape my jaw up off the floor, like, Jesus Christ, this makes Attack on Titan look tame by comparison. And don't think the violence is just for shock value either. It's not. That's the crazy thing. It's all story-driven. My reading on it is that they wanted to go for a realistic portrayal, like if superheroes existed in the real world, how would big super fights go down? Well, let's be honest, with that kind of power on display, things would get bloody, shit would get f***ed up. Anytime there's a big fight, you know there's a good chance that someone might die. Someone might get grievously wounded, because the stakes are real. And the characters all react like real people would. Like some superhero gets beaten half to death, they're in the hospital for weeks, and you see their family around them crying and stuff. Because even with as violent as the show gets, what really makes it so effective is the humanity. Because you really feel for these characters. All of them. You care about their relationships. You care about Invincible's relationship with his mom and dad. You care about Adam Eve having to deal with her dad being an asshole. and so on. And that, to me, was the most impressive part, the story and the characters. A lot of the time, when a show introduces a huge cast like this, I have trouble keeping track of everybody, their names and who they are and what they do, because it's really difficult to juggle that many characters and develop them all and make sure everybody gets their time to shine. A lot of shows have tried to do this, and most of them fall flat on their faces. Invincible makes this look easy. They've created a whole world here full of superheroes and villains and alien races and agencies that fight these things. Whole teams of heroes like the Teen Team and the Guardians of the Globe. And everybody's got a storyline. Everybody's got something to do. Well, the ones that don't die anyway. Even really minor characters that you wouldn't think would be important at all do something that matters. And it never gets cluttered. You never feel like they're focusing on too many people. Everybody gets the right amount of screen time to do what they need to do, and that's one of the strongest parts of this. Normally, I don't like when a show focuses on so many characters. It's hardly ever done well. But here, I was getting excited about it. I couldn't wait to check back in with Robot and Monster Girl, or the Mauler twins to see what they were cooking up in their cloning vat, or to see if Black Samson gets his powers back, or with Rexplode, who's just freaking hysterical, because everybody's getting developed. They've all got their own stuff going on, and all these stories are interconnected. And by the end of the season, I was struggling to think of any character that didn't have an arc of some kind. So much attention is paid to that stuff, and it works because of how well and how carefully everything is plotted out. Every episode, they're revealing something new as the story gets deeper and deeper, or planting seeds for stuff that's going to pay off later on. And what a payoff, man, because that finale, I'm not spoiling anything, but good God, what a roller coaster. And not just with the fight scenes, but how emotional it is too. I almost teared up a couple times. But even with as great as this show is, there is one part of it that I have to kind of tilt my head at. The secret identities thing. The whole issue of a superhero keeping a secret identity is very selectively enforced. And only when the plot needs it to be. Otherwise, they really don't consider it at all. You see superheroes flying out of their houses in street clothes in the middle of the day. There's one scene where Invincible's having trouble getting the hang of flying, so he's practicing his landings in the backyard of his house, in his street clothes, making a huge racket, and is he not worried about exposure? The neighbors could be hanging out their window with their phones live streaming you right now, dude. It almost becomes kind of silly how little they actually care about this. They even comment on it at one point, where a character says something like, if you're not expecting to see a superhero, you just don't. And that's true, because nobody does, even though not that many superheroes on this show wear masks. Omni-Man, the most well-known superhero in the world. No mask, no disguise. And does he ever get recognized when he's walking around in his secret identity? Nope. And it's like that with all of them. They hardly ever make a big thing out of this. Like, Invincible realizes that he goes to school with another superhero that he just met during an alien invasion, so he walks right up to her and tells her who he is. Like it's just a casual thing. So yeah, this is weird, but after a while you start to accept it and you figure, okay, alright, I guess this is just how the show works. Right up until the moment when it doesn't. Because Invincible has a girlfriend, and the girlfriend supposedly doesn't know he's a superhero, so he has to keep making excuses when he misses a date to smack down a crime boss or stop a giant asteroid from destroying the Earth or something, and he keeps getting in hot water with the girlfriend because she thinks he's blowing her off and he's struggling to keep his secret identity from her, and it's a really big deal about whether or not he should tell her. And that doesn't make sense. Why is it a big deal? Just tell her. You revealed your secret identity to this other character the first day you met. You've never cared about this before. Hell, no one on this show seems that concerned about it. So why is this even an issue, man? Just tell your girlfriend you're a superhero. I mean, I love this show, but that storyline, and the way it plays out, quite frankly, is definitely the weakest part. But hey, when everything else about the show is way up here, I can forgive them for one aspect of it being here. And he's only with this girl in the first place because he can't be with the main girl yet, so that relationship is supposed to have problems anyway. In the grand scheme of things, it's not that big a deal. And really, that's the only nitpick I can come up with. Guys, I can't recommend this show enough. Invincible is raising the bar for superhero cartoons. A-plus voice acting, incredible action, great writing, great characters, a story that keeps evolving the more you get into it. When it's all said and done, Invincible may be in the conversation for best superhero cartoons ever made. No hyperbole here, I'm serious. If they can maintain this level of quality, I'd put it up there with Justice League Unlimited, Batman the Animated Series. It's that good. This show made me want to go out and buy the entire comics run and just binge the whole thing. If you haven't seen Invincible yet, you don't know what you're missing. Robert Kirkman and his team have made something really special here. A superhero cartoon that's smart, compelling, with top-notch production values, made for adults. And there's no reason to think that it's not going to get even better from here. So if for whatever reason you haven't seen it yet, here's what you do. Finish watching this review, let all the ads play, obviously, thumbs up the video because that's what a cool person would do, then put the kids to bed, log on to Amazon Prime, and get ready to have your hair blown back. Amazon just picked it up for seasons 2 and 3. You're going to be hearing a lot more about Invincible in the future, and the hype is real. And you don't know how happy that makes me. I so rarely get to talk about great shows, and this show is f***ing great. Guys, let me know what you think about Invincible down below. Please leave me a comment. The algorithm's been kicking my ass lately. Also, ding that bell icon for notifications and follow me on social media so you'll always know when I upload new stuff. The link is down there. Thumbs up the video if you haven't already. Share, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed, and I'll be back with more very soon. You guys take care, do all the YouTube things, and I'll see you next time.